Hey, True Believers England teen here. We haven't been in a long time talking about news. I wanted to do this for a little bit now because it seems Disney is having some troubles. And I got to admit, I stopped going. I really did since they decided not to end the reservation system. Everything got more expensive, but we're getting less for our money. So when they canceled my annual pass so I could get one of these new ones, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to step away for a little bit.
And
So
by the way, Disney executives who might end up watching this at some point.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's going to happen.
Listen to what he just said. Anglican teen who has grown up in and around Orlando for his entire life and been a Disney show for longer than that, probably.
I've been going to Disney literally for 50 years. That is not a joke. My mother has a picture. She is carrying me as a baby throughout the park. So I have literally been going my entire life, and I'm done. It started when I realized they started to make rides I will never go on. Not because of my age, not because of any kind of health issue, but because of this new system where you got to get there at 6 o'clock in the morning to tap in your phone the very second it opens because everybody else is doing the same thing.
You must be the first in line, or you're never actually going on the thing.
Never saw. I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. I doubt I will, and I doubt I'll ever be on the Remy ride either. But the weird thing is even before the pandemic, even before all of that stuff happened, I started noticing that they just don't seem to care. They really don't. Haunted Mansion was broken down for a while as well. The People Mover is a freaking wreck.
I blame Cheapek. Most people who have been on this channel for long enough to remember when we used to do these regularly will know the running joke is that Bob Cheapek is that lawyer from Jurassic Park who wants it to be just a money-making machine.
And that's the way a lot of people have been becoming. I'm just one more voice. Granted, I understand this means I will never get invited to the press parties and all that kind of stuff, but I would rather tell the truth. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry.
You spoke ill of the mouse. Please go behind that alley. One of our mouseketeers will be with you shortly with a Luger, and you will never be heard from again. Never mind.
Disney has been dropping the ball for a while. So Splash Mountain log malfunctions during the drop, and the ride shuts down during the freaking drop.
That's got to be one of the worst times possible for it to malfunction. I mean. Good that nobody died, but
this story is from Inside the Magic. It was done by a gentleman called Andrew Boardwine. Thank you very much for his posting this. It says Splash Mountain has become an iconic attraction. Okay, we all know about that. However, it won't be long before the long-standing ride closes for good. We've already heard about the Tiana stuff because, I mean, you have to follow the fact that New Orleans is filled with mountains. So it fits, doesn't it?
No.
Not even a little bit.
I still think the correct answer to this is give Dr. Facilier a tarot parlor on Main Street. I
say the correct answer, if you're going to make a switch, is Pocahontas with just around the river bend being the waterfall drop.
That would be good too. But
it's Adventureland. It's in the Old West. It all fits. Even though, of course, that happened years and years, 100 years.
But like,
200.
Imagine doing like a tiki room style attraction, but with Facilier singing masks.
That would be cool. That would be cool. So as the Disney attraction enters its final days, it seems that it's been having a lot of its fair share. Now, this is something that theme parks normally do. I've worked at Universal. I've worked at Disney. SeaWorld won't have me. The weird thing is that this happens. So you will be the new kid on the block. I've opened a few attractions and everybody's interested and they make sure they're throwing money at you left and right. Everything's got to be top notch because that's what the people are coming to see, the new attraction. As soon as you cool down and here comes the new kid, you are forgotten about. So what's going on here? And I'm not saying this is my guess. I'm telling you, this is what's happening. They know that Splash Mountain is out the door. It's going to become Tiana's. Oh my gosh, there's a mountain in the middle of
the bayou.
The bayou, yeah. Sorry, there's no mountains in the freaking swamp. That just doesn't happen. Okay, so anyway, they know that this ride is out the door, so they don't want to put money into it. They want to do the bare freaking minimum. This is
goodbye old thing, make way for new thing.
Right. This is not a new story, kids. It really isn't. We've been hearing about boats sinking, and there's some that's like, oh, okay, another boat sank, big freaking deal. All right, it happens. But yes, the boat sank is not. This is not a new story. What's new is it happened on the drop, and there's video. So let us watch.
Wait, get more water.
Hold on, before we do, am I sharing sound?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear things.
Let's oh, what happened? I don't know what that is. Here it is.
The normal on Splash Mountain that you broke the ride.
Did you see that? Do you see how filled that boat is? If you look at when he moves over, you can see he is sitting in water right there.
Yeah.
Now, I've been on that a few times. You can get wet. If you're in the front, definitely it washes over you, but the boat never fills up.
Right.
What happened there is the boat was riding too low. It hit the water at the bottom and everything came in, and now they're just dragging.
Yeah.
That, my friends, is dangerous, because what could happen if they're riding too low is it hits the water and the boat decides it's going to go and
capsize.
Yeah. And that's that. They're very lucky.
And on the drop, particularly, that would have been a bad. Like this could have easily turned into a someone dies at Disney World publicly story.
The only thing that they would have going for them is the fact that there's no seatbelts. So it had the boat actually gone this way, they may have been thrown over the track into the pond. But one of them might have been thrown into a rock, and definitely the front one would have gone into the track. Anybody in the front seat, they are risking death in that car.
Yeah, not a good day. Either death or severe injury, which then Disney would have to both pay for and hush up mercilessly.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. As you can see in the video, guests go down the hill and a massive amount of water splashes over the log, leaving them soaked. The ride had come to a stop and had to be shut down because the logs malfunctioned. As noted previously, this isn't the first time the log is filled up with too much water on Splash Mountain, and if too much enters, it will sink. Disney has not made any comments on what the cause of the mishap. Well, I'll make a comment. I just did. I'm telling you, that's what happened on this one. But thank you for that. I'm coming over here just to see what people are saying about it. Disney is doing it on purpose to close the ride early because they don't care. That happens. This person is not wrong.
Yeah.
100%. If the existing ride has enough issues, and people will fully support the remodel just to make the maintenance issue stops. Now, Splash Mountain's my favorite ride in the Magic Kingdom. I know a lot of people love Haunted Mansion. I love Splash Mountain. I'm sad to see it go. I love, by the way, Princess and the Frog. It's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, give it its own ride though.
I think move it more towards Liberty Square, more towards the front. I could even see it being one of the only, or maybe the first, Main Street attraction, because it would be placed better in that environment than it would in Adventureland.
Like I say, do an attraction similar to the Enchanted Tiki Room, but make it Facilier's Tarot Parlor and have the Tiki Room element be Facilier's
Tiki Room is the first Disney attraction. They're not going to get rid of that.
I'm not saying replace it. I'm saying mimic its style and mimic its animatronics and things.
So this person's saying, touche, oh my, Splash Mountain is in bad shape because, and therefore we need to refurbish it into a crap attraction. Come on. Look, I get it. I want Splash Mountain around and Tiana have her own attraction, but that doesn't mean that the Tiana ride is going to be bad, does it?
No, it could work.
It's automatically bad. It's just I don't get it.
I'm pretty sure I know what sequence of the movie they're going for. They're going for the during the Evangeline song and during the alligators.
If I want to be a human being. Yeah. I was about to call the Dragonfly Evan rude. Rescuers, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
No.
I was about to call Evan Rude from the Rescuers.
And I love the idea that Princess and the Frog is actually a prequel to Peter Pan, because when Roy dies, he becomes the second star to the right. That's a very cool. I know it's done just for Disney Easter egg sense, but as like for fan theory reasons, it's cool, the idea that Roy is the second star to the right.
I don't think anybody's fooled here, though. I think they know they're letting it go so people will be okay when they finally close it. And it's going to happen.
We are moving on from old product. Please consume new product.
Yeah, the big problem here is that some people, like myself, may want to take that final ride. You know, look, I'm not going to be able to see Splash Mountain ever again. I want to take that final ride. Please, by all means, make sure that it's top freaking notch so people can remember it is a good thing. You know, not because what's going to happen is Splash Mountain's going to be remembered for being broken down and racist. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Then again, if it breaks down on your last hurrah ride, you'll be happy. Because
hey, Lorenzo SLYTHERCLAW, I can't stay. I'm stopping by to say hi and give the stream a like. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry you can't stick around. The video will be here. That's why we're doing it, even though we know we don't have enough. But you and the person who's sticking around, all right, which might actually be me because I'm on this as well.
That also might be Maranya, because Maranya is everywhere and is the queen of the chat.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. But hey, glad to see you there, man. But that's one thing they shouldn't do. They do that everywhere, by the way. Universal Studios does it. Twister, by the time Twister left in order to become Jimmy freaking Fallon, you want to talk about a fall right there. They rushed everybody through so much that the doors never fully closed, which means the tornado never grew to be what the tornado was supposed to be. I hated this. I was with Twister for 6 years. I loved that attraction and I loved working there. But I remember when the vortex would be huge and it started coming up, it's just a little wispy thing because there was no real pressure in the room anymore.
It's like we used to do this right, but now it's old, so we're not doing it right anymore.
And that's the way Universal
Toad end up getting replaced
Disney.
with. What did Mr. Toad end up getting replaced with? Because I heard it got replaced.
It got replaced with Winnie the Pooh in Walt Disney World. I don't know about Walt Disneyland. I am strictly a Walt Disney World person.
I think it's still Mr. Toad in Disneyland. And honestly, I'm glad that Mr. Toad still exists somewhere, because you want to talk about a time when Disney had teeth. That ride ends in hell.
Yeah, that one did. Yeah, you end up getting hit and then going to hell. We're merrily, merrily, merrily on our way to nowhere. Oh shit, we're in hell. Yeah, that was basically the ride there. A great ride, by the way. I love Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It was one of the rides that me and my family made sure we always went on. So I really dug it.
I rewatched Ichabod and Mr. Toad recently, and it put Mr. Toad in my mind.
Yeah, it's such a great film, isn't that? I mean, that's just during Disney's war years, they did a whole bunch of these movies, which were just either one or two stories, or in the case of Melody Time, 5 or 6 stories.
They did one that was just like American folk tales. That was like John Henry, Johnny.
That was a DVD that went straight to DVD in the 2000s.
Did it?
Yeah, that was
I didn't think it was that recent.
John Henry was the only new one. All the other ones were remakes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would
not remakes, but reissues. Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, because I knew Johnny Appleseed was older.
Yep. What was that? The Lord is good to me, so I must praise the Lord. Yeah, they will never make that ever again. Think about modern Disney will never do Johnny Appleseed and have him sing a prayer.
No, they never will. That's
another video though.
a sign of the worldview switch. It went from we must jam Christianity into everything, even places it doesn't belong, to we must jam social justice into everything, even places it doesn't belong.
The problem, of course, Bob Chapek doesn't care. He cares about the money, and that means that they're willing to. What doesn't sit right with me is maintenance would cost less than replacement. So not fixing these rides, and it's not, like I said, it's not just Splash Mountain. Haunted Mansion, we had the People Mover, we had the Carousel of Progress,
Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise was one we covered. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that was Jungle Cruise sank. Can't I ever be on a sinking boat just once?
Yeah, for those that don't know, Englentine has a running joke every time we cover and then this broke down story. It's always, but I wanted to be on it, and I mentioned this to him before we came on today. I was like, so you're gonna do the so why couldn't it have been me speech again, right?
Yes, come on. I mean, seriously, I've been going 50 years. Some years I would go maybe 100 times. That one thing that Bob Chapek was right about is that we use, if you buy an annual pass, use it. The big difference is, this is where he gets it wrong. We also have a house full of Disney stuff. And we also, this is something me and my wife started doing. When we go, we don't buy the incredibly expensive hamburgers because they're incredibly expensive. So knowing that we can come back next week, we instead have a nice sit-down meal at any one of the usually incredible or at least decent restaurants. Sit down and sit, and that's what we do every time. So when he says, "Oh, well, they don't spend money," no.
Again, the same goes to Bob Chapek as goes for all of Hollywood. Stop alienating the people who have incentive to care about your things, because unsurprisingly, the people who have the most incentive to care about your things also are the most invested in the things they care about. And as a result of being invested, they also invest the most in your product.
The people who Bob Chapek turned on the people who kept them open during the pandemic, and that's incredibly bad. But I'll tell you something. I will tell you something. And this is something I've kind of turned on. One day I'm filming everything like I normally did. I got my camera. It's been sitting here unused for a while because we haven't been. And we were filming and I'm doing the whole thing. And Gail comes up. She goes, "Will you turn that off and just be here today?" Sure. So I turned it off and I never picked it back up. Occasionally I'll pick it up and by that I mean I'll turn it on to film something or but I don't walk around all day, like this and everything looking for.
You're not married to your job. Sometimes you just do.
If we do go to a restaurant, I will film the food, and she has asked me, don't talk over the camera and such. Film the food, because she heard me do this. Film the food, film the restaurant, come home and record something. Don't spend the entire dinner. Be here. So I started being there, and I started noticing what a lot of other people have noticed: how much of an asshole I was while I was filming and talking. And this has been a problem, and we're going to be talking a little bit about it here. First, I want to go to this one story where there's this young lady, and she works out at the Disney Springs Starbucks. And it's the story here, Inside the Magic once again. We've covered many viral incidents of Disney influencers, Disney adults, and Disney vloggers disrupting the guest experience at Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts. Many guests feel that just being filmed for others' social media content is unbearably rude. Sorry, I'm going to back up the influencer here, and by that I mean YouTuber. Okay, I don't know. You get to choose who's the influencer, not me, not anybody else. You do.
You don't declare yourself an influencer. Yeah. You are an influencer if you have influence.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the thing that everyone needs to learn is the fans choose the rock star. The rock star doesn't choose the fan. Exactly.
So I will say this though, and this is where I'm going to defend them. There's signs everywhere saying that you are going to be in
consent to being filmed.
So, they might be shooting a commercial. You might be on somebody else's film. they say this, and just by entering the park, you're agreeing. Look on the back of your ticket, even it might be even there. That just by
it was
going
when
in,
we
you're
went.
agreeing.
I remember it being on the ticket when we went. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so that is where I go for the YouTuber. However, one Disney cast member alleges that a particular so-called influencer is very different once cameras are off. Kel at Theme Park Mom shared a video of herself after shopping at Downtown Disney. It was later stitched by Arissa Anatomy, who works at Starbucks, saying, okay, so no hate to that girl or anything, but I met her while I was working at downtown. And if you've ever been there, you know how busy it gets. And Downtown Disney can get slammed busy. Oh, she just says it. It is, and we were super busy. Our mobile orders were backed up. Our cafe was backed up. And this is something I don't understand. Starbucks is in your neighborhood.
Why wouldn't you go to anywhere else?
Yeah, there's coffees. There's other coffee shops, but Starbucks is there, so people freaking go, man. At Epcot, freaking Epcot, literally just take a walk around the corner.
The world,
and you can,
the world is there for you, literally. Yeah.
You have all sorts of French coffees, and you're gonna go to Starbucks. Yep. Are you kidding me on this?
Restaurants and styles of food and coffee and drinks from around the world. You go to Starbucks.
You go to Starbucks.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is an indictment on my generation, particularly. I think
to back this up here, I understood there was a hamburger chicken finger place at the very front of the park, and for a while I was like, why would you ever do that? You know, and at the back of the park they had the American Pavilion. Now it's a barbecue shop based on the Muppets, but they had a hamburger and chicken finger place, and I get it, because if you're a family, you're flying with kids, you're enjoying your vacation with kids. Kids don't have a sophisticated palate. Chicken fingers are basically what they like. So, okay, I get that. But Starbucks, that's adults. You should know better than to get this crap when you've got French coffee right around the corner. Yeah. And not to mention English tea on the way.
Yeah, why go to American Corporation when you can literally have the entire world supply of all the best things to eat and drink there at your disposal?
Okay, two things here. I don't know why there's not a monorail that goes through Downtown Disney. I don't know why they made this picture here, but okay. So anywho, this is there is no French pavilion though, so Starbucks is incredibly busy. She says, according to Ari, Kel had a mobile order and asked about it. Ari let Kel know it would be a couple of minutes because they're busy. As Ari was organizing other drinks, Kel allegedly asked, is someone even working on it, in a rude tone? And so it honestly just kind of pissed me off because, you know, her whole platform is Disney and being kind of all that. So she says, Ari initially commented on Kel's video that she had been mean, but spoke out further after Kel blocked her. Kel claims that she unblocked her to apologize, writing, I am really sorry I was rude to you. Definitely not my intention. I just wanted to make sure my drink mobile order had come in. And in another comment, Kel said she had been waiting 10 minutes for her drink and wanted to know where it was. She later issued a video, which is no longer here. I'm sorry that I was rude to a cast member at Downtown Disney. That wasn't what I meant to do. I honestly thought I was just asking a question about my order. However, she made a video saying I was rude, and I'm really sorry for that, how I came off. And she says that this makes me all very sad. She continued, not just because, as everyone's saying in my comment section, because I'm getting called out for it, but because genuinely I really love Disney and I know how hard the people work there. About blocking Ari, Kel said the comments on her video she made would really, she was really upset, but she later unblocked the cast member to issue an apology. LOL, so ungenuine, Eric said. I don't think this is her first time either. I think she just got called up this time. So that kind of happened. They had a little altercation, but let me tell you something. And this is also something from what I know from working there. She shouldn't have said anything. You go backstage, you bitch and moan to your friends, you call them all sorts of things that you ever want, and then you go back out. You do not do it right there. My mom lost her job because on the floor, she told her manager, you guys need to get your shit together. My mom, and they were like, we have to fire you now.
And you broke the policy, therefore out you go, kind of. But I'm of two minds on this with the influencer as well, because I understand that everyone has a bad day every night. It's fine. But this is one of the things I've learned in my time on YouTube, and yes, I know neither of us is anywhere near the scale of this particular influencer and whatever, but the rule is the same, which is don't be a different person when the camera is on versus when the camera is off, because this is what happens when you put on a facade. Sooner or later, that facade is going to crack. People like me and Eglantine are maybe a little bit more big, maybe a little bit more bombastic when the camera's on because we're performing, but personality-wise and beliefs-wise and mannerisms-wise, we're basically the same people, just with a little bit of a grander scale to it when we're on film. And that is how you have to do it, because if you, especially in this day and age where genuineness and authenticity is what sell, if you are being fake, someone somewhere is going to know, and then it is going to be the target that is on your back and going to be the arrow that runs you through. That's just a YouTuber tip.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. As far my take on it, having worked, and I've done both jobs. I've been a YouTuber. I've been I've worked at theme parks. Yeah. It was a case I could once again, I could tell you exactly what happened. They were busy and they were slammed, and this girl was probably up to here. Normally, every other interaction with a guest was polite. She was being her best. She was very. This was just this was the straw
that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this also led to her firing. The follow-up story has her getting fired. And I'm going to say something. It might not be what you want to hear, but it's deserved. She shouldn't have done it. In the end, she was a Disney employee who confronted a guest. Whether or not you don't like the YouTubers, whether or not you don't like the influencers, and I understand why you wouldn't.
You play the game by the rules of the game.
You have to, you have to follow the rules. I have watched, by the way, on camera and so forth. I've watched in a lot of situations where you would actually have some people were like, "Oh, hey, it's you," and they would turn the camera. We're filming here, right? And I'm like, "Wow, that was incredibly rude, dude." Yeah, it's people, if they recognize you off of YouTube, you freaking better love them, because you're a lot. Some of these guys,
that's your fan for one thing.
Yeah, some of these guys are making some real bank. But I can also see, I could see it both ways. She's the person, camera's off. Is anybody working on it? Could have been like, is anybody working on this? There's no nice way of saying that. I'm sorry, but there isn't. Yeah. But I can understand her being frustrated, but there's no nice way of saying that. So even just saying that could actually trigger somebody into arguing back with you. So there's no nice. Yeah, I'm sorry.
There are no good people in this particular story, because the YouTuber
only one is beholden by any kind of rules.
Yeah, the YouTuber was being disingenuous, but the cast member was breaking the rules as the rules have been laid down, and unfortunately, them's the rules.
Exactly. Since we're being live, I'm really regretting getting the blueberry popping boba, because I'd take a drink and then like, okay, now I gotta chew this. Okay, so yeah, that's where we stand. But the thing is these influencers have been irritating a lot of people. Like I said, some people recognize them. They get mad because you're interrupting their filming. They might actually film you by accident. I got caught on somebody's channel once. Actually, the guys I saw going, "We're filming here," they actually caught me in one of their videos. I told him this, and his name's Rhino. They're the Diz Unplugged. And I met him at the movie theater. I worked out at the movie theater at Downtown Disney. And I said, yeah, you guys, I was watching one of your videos, and there I am. And my wife said, "I know what you're doing." And he goes, "What?" And I said, she says, "You're flirting with that girl, aren't you?" My wife caught me. I don't
Networking.
yeah, well, I don't mean to. It's just the way I talk. I'm like, hey, how you doing? All right.
You're a showman, so for you the show is everything.
It very much, yeah, it's very much like that. And I have a way about me. And this is at the Beauty and the Beast, the Gaston's Tavern. They've got this. Now it's a Cinnabon, but at the time it was a lamb shank or a pork shank that was this big. It was delicious, by the way. And I just kind of go in and I lean up at the table. I'm like, and I start talking. My wife recognized that. You see, oh, I know what you do. I know that game. But anyway,
you're putting on the charm, you rascal, you.
He was talking to me about the fact that I've never met anybody we accidentally filmed, and that's the way it is. It's just accidental. Some people get a little bit mad. Some people.
I mean, especially in Disney, something you have to keep in mind. It's a small world, after all.
Yeah, you're going to get filmed. You're on somebody's video somewhere. The problem, though, is when these YouTubers get angry that you interrupt their shot because they have a great idea. I'm going to set this up and we're going to do this. And it's going to be beautiful. Okay, Spielberg, settle down. You're at YouTube. Yeah. You're doing YouTube, okay?
Yeah.
And the thing is
you are a dancing monkey. You're paid to dance, so do the dance.
Spielberg, on the other hand, has control of his extras. You don't. So when somebody does something, freaking run with it.
The world is not obliged to cater to your whims, and you must deal with it, basically.
More to the point, don't block the rides, because that makes people mad at you, and that makes us talk about the next one I want to talk about, and that is Disney Parks fans desperate brainstorm ways to disrupt live streamers. This is something else my wife talked to me about. This is something we agreed. This is my 1,000,000th time at Disney. You could say 1,000,001, 1,000,002. It doesn't matter.
Some people, well, actually, most people just get the one.
Right. So I understand this. If I'm on a ride, I don't turn on a light. I don't do a flash camera or anything like that, because I understand that someone near me is having their very first trip.
And possibly only.
Yeah, and I'm not going to mess it up. I'm not going to mess it up. Unfortunately, some people, and it's not just YouTubers, this is just rude guests as well, will do something to try to mess it up because, well, they just want the perfect picture.
And especially with things like Pinterest and Instagram, yes, I'm sure the problem has gotten worse, because when everyone is a tin pot superstar, everyone thinks their freaking C's will be the mail every 5 seconds. Yeah,
and that's been getting people upset. And in fact, as we're going to read in just a little bit, Japan's decided to block live streamers. So anyway, it goes on to say, one international Disney park, Tokyo Disney, has placed strict bans on live streaming and vlogging, and many fans can't wait for similar rules to come to Disneyland resorts and Walt Disney World resorts. It might seem fun to visit and review theme parks for work, but Disney adults and Disney influencers have been target of intense backlash on social media over the past few months. Sometimes it's been for something as innocuous as crying while hugging Pluto at Epcot. Some guests feel that just being filmed for other social media content is unbelievable, rude, and annoying. Okay, here's something that happens. There's a guy, you could check him out or try to find his videos. He does voices, and some of them are very good. He's really good at what he does. But what he does then is he goes and he films himself almost pranking the characters. Like he'll come in and he'll do that character's voice. And
he'll swear using the character's voice or something along those lines.
The one thing I would say about him is he needs to read the room, okay? Because there's a couple of times where he will go in and he'll do the voice and the character will go, oh, okay. They immediately recognize joke is on. But if they don't, he'll continue and he'll continue and he'll continue until it's like, just get off, okay? Because he is now irritating everybody. There was a speaking
Mickey. With stand-up, sometimes you have to give up the bit and just get off the freaking stage.
Just go, right. There was a speaking Mickey, where obviously Mickey has a few pre-recorded phrases that they're going to play over and over, but he was trying to get a response that he could never get. So, and that kind of stuff, I can see that being annoying to the people who are behind you just waiting to get their kids' pictures, because kids have a lot less patience than an adult does. Let them get through. One time, I love taking pictures with characters. Gail hates it, by the way. I love it. But I know if I'm standing there and I see little kids and such behind me, you guys going ahead. You guys going ahead. Because sometimes
prioritize the ones that are gonna for whom this is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, because and also of course I can wait. Kids are not that they can't wait as long. So I let them go. It's okay. It's fine because I'm gonna go up. Hey, here's my picture. You know, I obviously know you're not Princess Aurora or whatever. So let's play the game and then go. And I love playing the game, by the way.
Yeah.
But the thing is they also don't have time for me.
For
kids,
it means a lot more than it does to, especially with you, because you can, you know, you miss the opportunity today, you can just come back tomorrow.
I can go back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So you do get a lot of people like that who go in and they want to be the show. You're not the show. I don't care if your name's Tim Tracker, Adam the Woo, whomever.
You're not gonna upstage Disney on Disney property.
You're not the show.
And if you do, you might wind up getting caught by the Disney Gestapo.
Yeah. So it goes on to say many Disney park fans feel that social media has ruined Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resort, making once secret spots crowded. I agree. Will you stop telling people to go to the top floor of the freaking Harbor House? All right. Nobody goes up there. That's why we love it. Okay. Floridians love it because it's the one goddamn place we can go to sit and get our thoughts. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. Next thing, they'll be telling you about that staircase behind that little corn stand next to the freaking Hall of Presidents. There's a staircase right there that nobody knows about. If you just need to sit with your thoughts,
you're saying this on a live stream.
I know, right? But we've only got 2 viewers, so if they show up, I'll just say
no. I'm just saying because this video is going to be on here for the foreseeable future as well. So if this secret gets out, you only have yourself to blame. You know, like you.
I hate it when
I imagine the next time you do this, someone like 5 people are going to be there, and you're going to ask them, "How did you learn about this?" And they're going to be like, "Well, we learned it by watching you guys talk about it on this one live stream."
There was one the other day that was talking about a spot on Main Street. I've seen people blow it. Also, Main Street's one of the busiest areas, but there's an alleyway that if you go far back enough, there's a small table, and it's usually empty. So if you go grab your hot dog or grab your ice cream or something, you can go back there. Usually have the area to yourself. Just listen to the stories that the windows are telling you. It is so sweet. So it says now Disney park fans are taking action on Reddit. Fans discussed ways to disrupt live streamers on the Disney park rides during shows. I love using my special powers of being equally loud and passive aggressive to these guys. The utter look of disgust they give me makes my day. Don't do that. This is a bad idea, and here's why. If
the slope is going to be slippery.
You're not watching the show. If you do that, then you yourself have made the YouTuber the show. If he's there filming and they're in front of you, just go, "Hey guy, can you turn off your camera so I can see, or maybe my kid can see?" Some YouTubers I know, the Diz Unplugged, they've mentioned it. They always go off to the side somewhere, so they're not, and they'll stand up against a railing, so there's yard, and there's nobody in front of them. Okay, that's fine. I get it. But if you're confronting people during the show or during the ride, you're choosing to miss the show so you can talk to them. You're making them the show. "Hey, CHRONONAUGHT, what's up?" And Nicolas Cage, Secrets of Disney. Okay, Ian Nicolas Cage. All right, I guess you're Nick.
Well, I suppose I do have more experience with paganism than you do, so I guess I could do the bees bit one of these days.
This person's saying promote your own social media account or business while you're walking by. Like if they're filming and you want to disrupt them, and so you yell, englandteen.com, or something like that, or I love comics. Go to whatever I'm going to call this channel again. Go do that kind of thing. That's awesome. If you want to do it. Except for if I'm filming, then be quiet. But if they're doing it, do it. I get it. But if you're doing it on the ride, if you're doing it during the fireworks, you're missing the fireworks, so you can mess them up. That's on you. You're choosing to get messed up.
It's also kind of a slippery slope, because you're trying to get back at this person for being loud and annoying by being loud and annoying. So how many people are you going to ruin the show for by being loud and annoying in response to this other guy being loud and annoying? And it could conceivably be a slippery slope where everyone is trying to out annoy someone else.
Yeah, this person here, and by the way, never physically confront anybody. So this person saying he was concerned that interrupting live streamers would result in conflict. And then somebody says, that's why you talk about mundane crap really loud, so it's boring. I find the painting birdhouses with oil-based paints because it stands up better in the sun. But if it's a shady area, then I tend to do, I get that. I get that. Yeah, they would intervene if you're fighting, but both parties, no matter who started it, gets kicked out. One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere, like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, and then, of course, the Grandpa Simpsons bit. Look, here's the thing. If somebody's bothering you during a ride or a show, here's the way to disrupt them. Excuse me. Yeah, this is my first time and probably my only time that I'm going to see this, and the light from your camera is really bothering me. Could you please put the camera down, or maybe if you could cover the light that's shining backwards a little bit, that would be awesome. If you could do that, please. Thank you. That's a way to go about it. Just saying. But confronting, yeah, that could lead to a fight. I don't know, but Disney could stop them if they wanted to, but they know they bring people to the parks. All Disney would have to do is throttle the Wi-Fi speed down. You don't need fast internet for anything in the park, just to check websites and wait times. Even Magic Bands don't need high-speed access. They could also just block upload. Oh, let me tell you something, dude. No, do not slow the freaking Wi-Fi down. And here's why. You need a big band. Because a lot of people decide, I'm not going to use my minutes. I'm going to use Disney's. And so they jump on that thing so freaking much. If Disney really wants to stop, they would just throw out copyright flags to anything shown in the park. The NFL is doing this right now. I would hate that. I mean, let's face it. Some people.
It would be a public relations disaster as well, because it would ruin people's enjoyment of the parks, and then Disney would have to run cover for the PR of it.
The problem with doing what he's saying is that it's not just YouTubers that film the parks.
It's people doing basically the equivalent of home movies.
And they're not doing it to, like the first videos on this channel, if you go back and you look at the earliest videos, it's just me filming things. I wasn't thinking about making money or anything. I just filmed a few things that I saw and I put them on. That's it. And there's a lot of people who do the same. This is our vacation. Here you go. But yeah, that's the problem with Disney blocking everything.
And in truth, even the YouTubing isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just when people get egotistical about it, like when they think their YouTube job makes people better than you, is when it becomes.
One of the they call them pass holes. PASSHOLES.
As in fast pass, but
no, as in annual pass. And what it is somebody with an annual pass who's been there for so long, they think they're a tier above the guest that doesn't go every day.
Those single-time peasants, they don't know.
They don't know that this is my park. Ha, 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 ha. No, it isn't. That's why you've got to buy a ticket to get in. Okay, if it was your park, nobody would be bothering you about paying to get in. But there is an attitude that goes along with it, and it kind of is attached to the YouTubers. And the ones that want to be, like I said, they want to be Francis Ford Coppola filming that most awesome of
you're ruining my show. It's not your show. Shut up.
Here's something I would also say. Look, if something's going on, hey, you might have seen a squirrel and now he's running up the Snow White plant or something. It looks cute. Film it. Obviously, if your family or your friends are doing something that's not against the rules, film it. Might be great. Put it on. Go right on ahead. If you're talking about, if you're a YouTuber and you're talking about the new food, film the food and then do your voiceover. You can't do a video live anyway because there's music everywhere. You're going to get copyright hit.
Well, that and also so many people and so much going on that it would just make making a shot difficult.
What you don't do is film during the rides. Already there are so many videos out there that you can take credit to whoever did it. There's no need for you to put on a freaking camera to film anything. It's already been done. You can find it already.
You're not enjoying it at that point if you're overly focused on filming.
That was actually the thing that my wife got on to me about. Like I said, she was no, be here in the moment. So I will. What I've done for a lot of the later videos was I wouldn't talk while I'm filming. I'll just like get whatever food we get. I'll film the restaurant, and then I'll do a little voiceover. I'll put some music to it, and then of course after I'll do the review. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I think that's the proper way. A lot of times, like, oh, I'm going to be sitting in this dark ass restaurant. Here you go. Or I saw Tim Tracker. They're at Victoria and Albert's, right? And they're like, okay, this is a place that I don't know if we should be talking because it's so quiet in here, and I don't know if then freaking talk about it afterwards. Know if you should be talking,
then why are you talking?
Yeah, talk about it afterwards or something like that. You know, especially if you're at Victoria and Albert's. That's the big dude, man. That's the big restaurant at Disney. It's not California Grill. It's Victoria and Albert's. That's the one that has a chef table. It's going to cost you $150,000 a plate. It is the top notch restaurant.
Yeah. Five Michelin stars.
Yeah, why are you going to hold a freaking camera while you're there? I mean, I get it if you get some of those Facebook glasses or something, you can film. But yeah,
the Google glasses or whatever.
Yeah, here I
am. Someday we'll all have a pair of those.
I've attacked the Diz Unplugged. I've attacked Tim Tracker. Who else do I need to go after?
We've already done the Bob Chapek is just the lawyer for Jurassic Park.
I'm just talking about the other channels and such I've been after, but I don't agree with the influencer who feels that they're above the other people. I, by the way, have helped others. Like if I see them with a map and they're like, hey, you need a hand, you need some help. Okay, fine. There you go. Blah, blah. One time I wore a teal blue shirt. Me and Gail went out to SeaWorld. I wore a teal blue shirt, and we were waiting to go on the Sky Ride.
Someone mistook you for an employee?
They came up and they said, hey, do you know where so-and-so is? I said, yeah, man, you go right around the corner here. You're going to come, you're going to want to make like, you'll pass an ice cream shop, go right around, and it's right there. You'll see it. Oh, okay, thank you. And then somebody else came up. Hey, do you know where? Yeah, you go right around this corner. You want to go all the way down. It's going to be on the left-hand side. Now, if you see Infinity Falls, you've gone too far. Turn around. Now it's on the right. Okay? And they go, oh, thank you. Hey, have you seen it? Yeah, you go right on. And then my wife goes,
Eglinton should have gotten a paycheck for this day.
Yeah, I answered like, at first I answered like 4 or 5 questions, right? And then my wife goes, I think they think you work here. You've got the same shirt as, and it wasn't. It was a blue shirt, but on the front of it, it had.
It was close enough that people were making the mistake.
Except it had the little girl from Despicable Me holding on to Rocket Raccoon going, it's so fluffy. And but people only saw the color of the shirt. And so I started answering. And then the crowd that gathered around us while we were waiting got bigger and bigger. And everybody's watching this. I ended up answering like 25, 30 questions. I know this because the lady next to me was counting and she stopped at 20. She was like, "Oh, this is funny. Oh, that was 13. That was 14. That was 15." Because people kept coming up to ask me questions and such. It was funny.
In short, SeaWorld higher angler team is good at this job.
And I can do that at any park, by the way. So not just that one. Yeah.
Again, because being a experienced goer and also knowing the ins and outs of the inner workings is useful.
It's fun stuff. It really is. I think that was the last. Oh, wait, no. I always like to add in a food thing. Now, I haven't seen this one yet. I don't know what it's all about. Apparently, there's it's the 40th anniversary of Epcot. My bird's kind of losing it right now. And there's a little food thing. And I love adding the food stuff to the show. Let me see. A full guide to all of Epcot's 40th anniversary food and drink. The limited time stuff. So there's only 6 fun. So at the Connections Cafe. All righty. We have the Epcot 40th Liege Waffle. Okay.
Waffle.
And it looks like you get a little slushy drink with it. It doesn't describe it.
That seems odd, but I mean,
here we go. The waffle, it's a waffle. It's got little sprinkles here. The De Margarita, available beginning September. Okay, 40th Fiesta, celebrate the colors for the anniversary of Epcot with this frozen margarita and a Mexico 40 souvenir cup. I got to tell you, them's great.
I assume you can get them without alcohol.
Most of the time you can.
Okay,
Celebrate
good.
funnel cake celebration funnel cake with vanilla ice cream, whipped sprinkles, and 40th candles. The candles. I know, right?
Funnel cake is one of those foods where every time I go to any park or anything, I always get a funnel cake. And people are like,
"Good,
you always get a funnel cake. Why don't you ever get anything else?" And I'm like, because it's funnel cake. I shouldn't have to explain this.
Dude, there are some awesome ones at the American Pavilion. What's that? This is probably where it is. They have so many different flavors. It really is good. And then right down the road, they've got something for me: crepes. They've got an entire little booth just made for crepes.
Crepes is another thing that I will never ever turn. Like, the only time in my life that I've had crepes, there were these crepes with like chocolate sauce and Nutella and whipped cream, and I was having a bit, and caramel. I was having a very good day that day. Crepes is good food.
At the Garden House, they have sake cocktail flight featuring Samurai Mount Fuji Tokyo Sunset and Violet sake. And it looks like a flan in Mexico.
I've never had sake. I would enjoy having.
It's
sake.
an interesting tale, sir.
Yeah.
And then you have the Mexico's flan vanilla custard top with blueberries, whipped cream, and Mexico 40 white chocolate garnish.
I will be having all of those, please. Thank you. Flan is another one of those. I'm getting diabetes just by hearing about these. But
I love flan. My daughter loves flan so much that when we were at the food festival, she says, "Can we go to the Mexican restaurant and get flan?" Now, most of the time you go into a booth, she had us go because she didn't ask for much. Like Ashley was like, "Oh, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that." Elizabeth was like, "Yeah, this is good."
I want the one thing that I'm a lot like that. Like I'll get the one thing I'm interested in getting, and that will be enough for me that day.
And that's exactly what she did. We went to the Hacienda de San Angel to get her the flan, and it was pretty darn good. Nine Dragons, one of my favorite restaurants, by the way. This was I have a video. It's older because I don't have any new videos on this. This is the first video we've done in a year, by the way. So I did this video. Check it out. It was the 10 worst dining experiences I've ever had. And I decided I was going to go back and try some of these restaurants to see if it's
redemption round, basically.
Yeah. And Nine Dragons I went back to, and holy Toledo, it was good. I got the grandma's pork belly, and it was cooked in a 5-spice, kind of like a pho.
Mm-hmm.
It was so delicious. So delicious. So they're saying it's Dan Dan noodles, spicy pork and Szechuan sauce, peanut butter, sesame, shredded sesame, shredded cucumber, and unfortunately, green onion. And that's right here.
Which you will have to specify no
Yep.
onion because allergy.
Yeah, otherwise, I got to tell you, it does look good. It does look incredibly good. I would take that. And this, I guess, is the Space 220 restaurant, which is now next to, I believe it's next to World of Motion or something, or the, what? No, not that one. It's the other one that came out. Moon thing, space, Mission Space or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is crema catalina vanilla cream custard lemon snow citrus segments and spicy ginger crumble. That is awesome. I want to go to there.
Yeah, I will. Again, whenever I end up going down there again, we're just gonna have to pick a day that's gonna be nothing but desserts because my sweet tooth demands trying all of these.
One of my favorite things to do when I do go out to Disney is what I call the Cupcake Crawl. And that's just, we pay for parking, park in the parking lot, take the monorail from hotel to hotel to hotel to hotel, and try all the try the most interesting cupcakes and drinks and so forth. And yeah,
I wouldn't say no to that.
Yep.
I wouldn't say no to that. I have some kind of history of diabetes in my family, and it doesn't surprise me. But then again, I also only eat like one meal a day usually, so I should be fine. So,
well, sir, you're almost a diabetes. We will get you there. Sunshine Season. This is Figment Sponge Cake with Honey Mousse Lime. Okay. I don't know what I think about this one. I've had a cake that looks like this. It was one of the worst things I've had, but that looks like just a regular. It's got a honey lime mousse. I'm in.
I mean, especially being in Florida, if you don't have something with lime in it, you've been cheated. So why not?
Tepanetto, the Japanese restaurant. Epcot, 40th Sakatini. The Sakatini was on the menu when the Japan Pavilion first opened. The version combines sake. Why am I saying sake? It's the new Avenger, sake. He's just got smelly feet. And butterfly pea flower to create color reminiscent of the night sky at Epcot. Holy shiitake mushrooms. Does that look good? Both of them look good. This martini right here looks like it's a black hole falling into something, doesn't it?
A bit, yeah.
And I got to admit, that looks like it's looking at us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not to be that food judge snob, but points for presentation.
I know, right? Okay, so there you go. But look, I got to say, it's a small menu there, but interesting enough anyway. Good stuff. I'm from there.
It would have been worth it just for the funnel cake, in my opinion, because again, I am the easiest sell in the world for funnel cakes.
Okay, CHRONONAUGHT says he's from Florida as well. It's not lime. It's if you're a Seminole or Gator fan. I used to work in Tallahassee. I delivered the newspaper, so we would get Seminole news all the time. So I'm a Gator fan. I'm just tired of hearing about the Seminoles. Actually, I'm neither. I'm a Bucks fan. I go that route. Forget about the college. I go straight to Dolphins and Bucks, mostly Bucks.
And now we have gone very far afield from anything that I would understand.
There you go. Anyway, yes.
I don't speak sports.
Anywho, I got to tell you, I would not mind doing this more often, talking about the news, talk about stuff like that. We haven't done it in a while. Let's increase the traffic to this channel. Maybe something.
We also missed out on the live action Little Mermaid controversy.
Yeah, the whole fact that they have Melissa McCarthy and not Queen Latifah playing.
I know that's always.
The hell?
You realize, of course, we have to review that movie just for the sake of that joke now.
Oh my gosh. Yes, they talk about, oh my gosh, I can't believe they race swapped. Of course. They made Queen Latifah into Melissa McCarthy. It's horrible.
Yeah, also, even by like social justice standards, but by the like rules of social justice warfare, doesn't black women trump white women anyway?
Thank you. They totally messed up. They said, no, you're only good enough for this live version over here, not the movie, even though you've got an incredible freaking voice. And maybe,
Yeah,
hey, we
and
don't know.
enjoyed the hell out of playing the character as well, which, yeah, is what you want in a live action rendition.
We might have everything thrown in our face, and Melissa McCarthy comes out with a gorgeous voice. I'm being serious. We don't.
I'm not holding my breath.
We don't know.
My breath is not being held, but yeah, but I've seen her acting in other things. I don't think it's there.
Well, here's the thing. I know that Melissa McCarthy can act. She's done a couple of things. She got nominated for an Oscar, as a matter of fact, for a movie. I think she can act when she tries. The big question is, can she sing? We know that Latifah can sing at least, and we know from movies like Set It Off and such that she's got some chops in the acting field. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on that one.
I mean, most of what Ursula has to do is be fun and enjoy being evil, and we've already seen Queen Latifah be good at those things because she's already played that role before.
And for what Twitter's talking about, here's what I have to say. My whole argument was, when Disney or when anything does this, they're ignoring the fact that they could be doing original Black fables, original Black tall tales. Think about this. They did one short animated sequence of John Henry in the 2000s. They missed out in the 90s by not doing John Henry with Michael Clark Duncan. They missed out on the 2000s by not doing this with Terry Crews.
Peter Davidson would have also been a good choice.
Now they're going to miss out on a John Henry by not doing it with, what's his name from freaking Luke Cage? Something Culford or something like that. The man is a brick house. He is a seriously huge dude who we saw in Luke Cage. He can act. Let's move that tall tale. Let's get that story done live action. It's an actual original story that would be about a Black guy. Let's get that out there instead of
the Anazi fables. That would be another one that I would go for, because I grew up on like the Anazi fables, and they were cool. And it didn't even occur to me that they were. Well, obviously, it occurred to me that they were from African culture, but it didn't. Like, it never registered to me that
because you
that was
care
a different
about
race, because I don't care.
Right, you care about the themes. You care about the morals, the lessons.
The characters are interesting. The like mythology behind it is interesting. The culture. This is why I'm glad I grew up in the 90s, is because we used to live by the credo of, is this culture interesting?
Yeah.
Then it's worth talking about.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter of race or anything. The culture itself is interesting on its own merits.
But take that away, take the racial elements out of it, and the fact that Disney seems to want to do that instead of actual promote stories about Black people or anybody of color, as much as they do want to take in live action race swap. It's not necessary. There's so many great stories to be told. Princess and the Frog, I get it. A lot of people are like, hey, they finally had a Black princess, and for most of it, she was a frog. But you know what? Okay, I get it.
It made sense to the story, and it was its own story that they were telling. They weren't trying to set it in medieval Europe and have Tiana be Black. They were setting it in New Orleans and had Tiana be Black.
They're pushing it in animation. Why can't they push it in live action as well? With animation, they've done Coco, they've done Encanto, they've done Moana. Great, that's awesome. Now do those original stories, but do them live. Not necessarily those. Come up with original stories and do them live.
And also, given that Princess and the Frog didn't do all that well financially, if it got the live action treatment, that would kind of make sense. Same thing with Hercules. If they did a Hercules in live action, because that movie didn't do all that well financially, but it did do well in terms of fandom. Or Atlantis: The Lost Empire. That movie has an amazing reputation among its fan base, but didn't do well financially. It would be an interesting thing to capture in a live action format. Yeah. But instead, no, we're gonna we're going to do the ones that everyone is already attached to. And when they have a problem with all the changes we make for no frickin' reason, then we're going to call them all immoral because reason.
Yep. So that's my take on it. And if I were to talk about what's bad about this new Disney Ariel movie, the racial elements are down low. Yep. And the fact that instead of a bright, colorful, fun tale, it looks like a horror movie, ladies and gentlemen.
That bothers me more than anything having to do with race, anything having to do with casting.
It looks like a horror film.
It's the same problems I had with Lion King. Just because you're doing something in live action doesn't mean you have to remove all the color. You can do color. Like, guys, we've had the technology to do full color movies for a literal century almost. Can you guys remember how to use? And this is the other thing. In today's day and age, all it takes is just adjust the saturation or adjust the contrast of the camera or just put a filter over it. I can do this with individual pictures on my phone. There's no way in heck Disney doesn't have some kind of camera technology that can do the same effects within like two twitches of a switch or a button for an entire shot. That shouldn't be that hard.
If you put slow, ominous music over that Ariel trailer, it's a horror film. That's all I got to say about that.
It would make more sense. Yeah.
CHRONONAUGHT says by constantly race swapping, Disney made it about race instead of the story. That's also what I think, or at least I'm thinking in the same direction as far as the Buzz Lightyear movie. I always joke it was advertised as a lesbian porn because you heard nothing about the story. You heard about the kiss, nothing about the story. And that kiss was so short, I looked away and I missed it. I never saw it. It wasn't this big, long, 18-minute freaking lesbian.
No, it was a peck.
It was a peck on the cheek. Yeah, it was a peck on the. And you know what? I never saw it. Never saw it. It was in there. Never saw it because I looked away. And that was what they freaking sold the movie on.
And here's the other thing. For those of us that grew up on Buzz Lightyear had his own show once upon a time. It was called Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It was an animated action show.
That was Glinzer. They both got blue.
It was set in the actual universe of Buzz Lightyear, and there was an entire cast already set up in Buzz Lightyear Star Command. And I, like most 90s/2000s kids, was wondering, why the heck doesn't this have anything to do with Buzz Lightyear Star Command? Where's Booster? Where's XR? Where's Mira? Where's the Captain? There were characters, and it was a diverse cast, by the way, because you had, people of all sorts of different, aliens of every different kind and so on and that, and personality-wise and this and that and the other. So where the heck was the cast of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command in the Buzz Lightyear movie? Why is this an entirely different continuity? That makes no freaking sense, especially given that the premise of the movie is that this movie is the movie that inspired the toy line.
And I was
if
about
that
to
be
say,
the case, then why would the characters that later showed up in the show not be in the movie?
Well, that's one thing that was brought up. This would not have been a movie that a kid in the 90s would have liked anyway. So that's true. This movie was not made in the style of 1990s. So it doesn't fit. CHRONONAUGHT also mentioned they messed up Mulan. Mulan destroyed me because I remember doing a preview review of that, and I'm just praising it. Oh my gosh, I love it.
No, it looked like it was going to be the one. It was going to be one of the ones that broke the curse, but it didn't. The only thing that worked in the live action version was the villain was more interesting than Shan Yu, but anyone would have been more interesting than Shan Yu.
Alrighty,
anyone.
Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us and thanks for listening in. Once again, try to do this more often. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with us. As always, don't forget to click like and share, do all that kind of stuff. And thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.